I'm Tony Val, and this is Hoosier Hometown Heroes. Today my guest is Nancy Sunshine, president of Rainmakers. Nancy is an absolute joy to be around. I really enjoyed my conversation with her, and I hope you do too. Before we go to that conversation, I must thank our sponsor, Prometheus Consulting. If your organization is at all unhappy with your current IT support, if your staff are not getting the care and attention they deserve, if your computers are slowing down, if you're worried about security, call Prometheus today at 317-733-2388. And now please enjoy my conversation with Nancy Sunshine. It is my pleasure to welcome to the show Nancy Sunshine. Hello, Nancy.
Thank you, Tony. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. And, I thought it would be fitting. You and I have known each other for a good long while. You were
5-6 years.
Yeah. You were a bread and butter Rainmakers, very delightful, Rainmakers member before you became the president of Rainmakers about a year ago.
Right, exactly.
I figure now that it's been a year, it's about time to dive in. So you've been doing this for about a year, correct?
October will be a year, yeah.
How's it going? Tell me about it.
It's been an amazing adventure. The whole story would take way too long, but since I've been president, I've been able to really focus on the membership and what we need as members and what I can offer, what other members can offer members. And we've changed a lot of things. It's been exciting. People have been really responding well to some of the changes.
I can attest to the fact that things have really changed.
Yeah.
Things have really changed, and there's a lot I want to cover in terms of kind of how the organization works today.
Yeah, sure.
I think a good place to start is, let's just talk generally about the kinds of events that are going on at Rainmakers these days. Just give the non-member a flavor of what's going on.
Well, first of all, so we are a business development organization, a networking organization. It's a membership. And within a membership, you're allowed to go to any and all events. Some of them are large events. Large to Rainmakers is like 75 to 100 people, and those are once a month. And that used to be a lot more large events, but we've scaled it down to a lot more of the round table. So the small 20 to 25 people, we try to keep it at 20 because that's where we can get the intimate relationships and build relationships, strategic partners. So we've added a lot more of those. And some of them are purely networking. Some of them are business development. We learn from each other. We have virtual networking where you can sit at home, your office, 30 minutes, you meet 5 other people, quick and easy. If you feel like it's something you want to pursue with a relationship with someone else, you can do that offline. We have one of my favorite things, eat and drink. It's a social casual event that
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Nancy.
So sorry.
You were one of the founders of that particular event, correct?
Yes. Before Nikki asked me to do it, I did it. Just wanting to support locally owned restaurants. That's really my passion, locally owned. And I love to eat and drink. So I decided to do that. And Nikki asked me to start doing that for Rainmakers. So it's the last Tuesday of every month. I pick a locally owned restaurant. And we also have a cocktail hour from 4:30 to 6. Anybody can come. If you don't want to stay for dinner, you don't have to. If you do, we normally have about 20 people stay for dinner. But the cocktail hour is, of course, a lot more people.
Now, you'd never guess this, but I actually like to eat and drink as well.
Oh, so really?
I know.
Then why haven't you been to one of our events?
That's a stretch. Well, because usually when I try to get to the event, I stop off somewhere else and eat and drink because I can't even wait long enough to get to the event.
Okay.
Anyway, well, so you've mentioned Nikki. Let's just kind of talk about you. You took over for Nikki Lewallen, of course, former guest on Hoosier Hometown Heroes.
That, yeah.
Of course, former president of Rainmakers, still very involved. And now podcaster as well. She runs the Gut Plus Science, to be a stickler about it.
Yeah, Plus Science. Sorry.
Yeah, which I find to be, it took me a while to wrap my brain around what is this about.
Plus Science.
Yeah. But anyway, so
and I've actually been able to sit with her one day when she did a bunch of podcasts. So it was really interesting how she does that, questions she asks, because I can always learn from her. But just to make sure, Nikki is the CEO of Rainmakers. I am the president. She's super involved.
Still her organization. Yes. I want to dive into one of the events that I'm curious about, and I had hoped that I I want to say attend one, but you don't really attend it. That's the virtual networking event. Tell us more about that. I've not done one, but I want to learn more.
Yeah. So this was another one of, it was my idea, but then of course we got a lot of feedback from members. But I just found when I was networking, trying to build relationships, you meet so many people, and it's like, I didn't have time to meet for coffee with everyone, or, do anything. So then I started, all right, let's have a phone call. Then that was taking time. So then I thought, why can't we just do a, I don't know, what do they call them, Zoom or whatever. And I thought that was the perfect solution. You got to see the person, our facial expressions, all that makes a big difference. So we put this together. So it started in January, where it's a GoToWebinar. You have to register for the event. Then you get a specific link. You show your webcam, and we limit it to 6 people total.
Six people
total, because that way in 30 minutes, everyone has an opportunity to tell their elevator pitch, their story. We usually have some time afterwards for question and answer for everybody. And we make it a lot of fun, because it almost looks like on your screen, it's like the Brady Bunch, right? So you have 6 people. And so we make it a lot of fun, ask a lot of questions. I typically know all of the people are joining, and I know what they do, so I can kind of pull things out of them so other people can really understand what they do.
So in that way, you're tailoring it to the people who are going to be there a little bit. It sounds like you're almost like a cruise director of sorts.
Yes, I love that. Yes, exactly.
Hey, feel free to use that.
I'm gonna steal it from you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
There's another event that I'm curious about that I noticed on the calendar. Let's see if I can read my whatever computer's in front of me. When you work at an IT company, it turns out you own 5 or 6 computers.
And then you don't know which one to choose.
Yeah. Putting your best foot forward.
Your best
I want to learn more
forward.
Words?
Your best words forward.
Oh, my goodness. I just threw foot in there. I assume that's what should be there when I wrote down the title.
Okay.
So what's that all about?
We started this as a quarterly event. It's probably going to change. But one of our members, we were having a conversation one day, and I find that a lot of people who join Rainmakers or any networking organization, they struggle with that 90-second commercial, right? So putting your best words forward, that's the title we came up with. So it's a workshop, and last time we did it, we were packed into this room. So we've had to move it to a larger space, which is exciting because we're growing and things are happening. So basically what she does is she walks through that process of what you should include in your 90-second commercial. Important things, being very specific. And that's one thing that Rainmakers does too, is we try to help people. Because if I ask you, well, what do you do? What is your job? And people say, oh, I can help everybody.
Yes.
Our brains just they whack out, and I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
But when we're specific.
Before I got any direction from Rainmakers, which is one of the great things I've gotten from the group, is I learned, how to do business networking. And we can get into that.
Yes, we
can.
But
when I was very green, I remember, I could walk into an event and essentially say, anyone who owns a computer is a good customer for Prometheus,
Right.
And people can't wrap their minds around
right.
that. So
they're like, I don't know what to do. But if you're specific, they can say, oh yes, I know a restaurant owner. I know anything.
Yes.
If you're specific.
Right. Yeah. And so what I do when I attend events now is I just hone in on a couple of verticals. You know, today I'm interested in maybe meeting CPAs and business attorneys, and take it from there. And it just changes, next month it'll be not-for-profits.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, that sounds like an interesting event. And, of course, the old elevator speech is so very important.
Super important. And even though people have been networking for a while, some of the members have been, Rainmakers started in 2002, and we still have a few members starting that are still around. They still struggle with that, right? Because their business has changed. But we've recently had a large part of our new membership is young professionals. And some of them have never networked before. And I love working with them, because then you can mold them, right? If there's someone who's been in business a while and have been networking, it's kind of hard for them to change their ways. But it's fun.
I was, it reminds me of a conversation I had with my buddy Jerry Knoop the other day.
Yes, Jerry's awesome.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
We were chatting, and we got to talking about, going to networking events. And he said, do you go with any goals in mind? I think he was expecting that I would say, no,
Right.
actually, no. Should I, Jerry? But so I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm going to wow Jerry. I said, yes, I do. Now, the truth of the matter, and I think I admitted to Jerry, I heard Bryon Foley,
Yes.
who is a fellow Rainmaker,
Yes.
Foresight
Financial.
Mm-hmm. Bryon's a great guy, super smart guy.
Absolutely.
At some event, he shared it was maybe a room of us or maybe it was just me, I don't remember, but I never forgot what he said, and that was he goes to a networking event and his goal is to further 2 relationships. That's it. Mm-hmm. Now, it could be that that's 2 brand new people that he's met and they get going,
right?
Or maybe he's running it. Maybe it's 1 new person and 1 person he knows, but he's gonna just strengthen that relationship. He's gonna get caught up. He's gonna visit with them. And I once hearing Bryon say that, I decided, wow, networking, it doesn't have to be that hard.
It's not.
I had a roadmap. So thank you, Bryon Foley.
Right. And we do want to be strategic about when we go to an event because the audience might change, right? So if I go to an event and there's a bunch of maybe women, just women business owners, or I'm going to a event where there's a financial planners or whatever that is, or maybe there's a mix, our message is going to change, right? So we should have a couple of different elevator pitches in our pocket, because we can tailor that. Or if I'm going to an event where there's a bunch of restaurant owners, that's my niche, right? So I want to be able to have the option to change my elevator pitch.
Well, let's since we're on the topic of restaurant owners, share with our viewership why that is pertinent for you to be talking to restaurant owners.
Yes. So about 3 years ago, Nikki convinced me that I needed to quit my full-time job and start my own business. So I did, and I work with business owners to help them reduce their credit card processing fees. But my passion is helping restaurants, locally owned restaurants. So yes, I want to work with restaurant owners because when I was working in a corporation doing credit card processing, I felt bad for merchants. I felt like they were really getting ripped off. And I was able, having my own business, I'm able to reduce those fees and not charge some of those fees. And even if I can just educate people, just to say, hey, let me look at your statement. Let's go over this. Let me explain these charges. Maybe they can go back to their current processor and say, hey, what's up with that? And if they choose to say, that's cool. I just want to help educate and lower those key fees because local business owners, we struggle, right? We have chains, we have all these other options, and that's their passion as well.
And I would just add to that I'm sure that business for you is somewhat similar to what I do day to day in that the business owner doesn't understand the technology, doesn't want to, they need to run their business. They want to talk to someone like you that can just take care of it, Nancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they, if they hire someone like yourself or myself, we're the professionals and we're the experts and we should know. They shouldn't have to worry about that. But I can't tell you how many times people will hand me over their statements and I'm like, it breaks my heart because they get charged, like a gentleman the other day, $50 a month he's been paying for over a year that he did not need to be paying.
Wow.
But, we don't know what we don't know, right?
Yeah, you got that right.
Old cliche, but it's true.
Speaking of what we don't know, so Nancy, I've been wanting to share an idea with you. I like to network with people.
Yes.
That's part of the reason Who's Your Hometown Heroes exists.
Right.
And so I like kicking around weird ideas. And I was just telling you a minute ago that Lewis and I love to go fishing. Mm-hmm. It's great. We've had some of the greatest conversations while fishing. We have a great time. And I just thought, I'm going to start inviting my business buddies out to fish. Wouldn't that be interesting? That would have to be a new call. For a guy to get a call from me. Hey, do you have galoshes?
Yeah.
And what are you doing next Thursday at 10 a.m.?
But why not? If they enjoy fishing, a great way to bond. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so now the regular community now knows that I'm sort of plotting this. So
okay.
If anyone out there wants to take me up on that, I guess
you probably will have a lot of takers.
Yeah.
Can they bring their kids?
Oh, even better.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that way, Lewis Robert Val
Yes.
could join in. He is. We switched to bluegills this year. We were bass fishermen for like our first 3 years. He's 7, and we switched to bluegills. I was just telling my friend Jerry Cary the other day. We were just catching up, and he's a big fisherman. And he's got. I think he said his son is 10 or 12. Now I can't remember, but he's a bass fisherman, Jerry. Very, very good. Way more accomplished than I am. But it would be fun. I'll report back if I ever try the experiment, the fishing
I'm sure
experiment.
they do other things too. Like you're going, I don't know, hunting or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I would think so. Fishing, I think, is a little more safe.
For you, maybe.
Yeah, and for whoever I'm going with, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But this idea of interesting ways to network is interesting. Another one that I thought was neat. Chip Neidigh, do you know Chip?
I don't.
He's with he runs Kairos, a local consulting firm. Chip is one of those guys that he's so smart that I just have to like eat right a few days before I even talk with Chip so I can keep up. He's so bright. But he invited me to a celebrity poker or charity.
Oh, I was going to say celebrity.
Yeah, a charity poker event. It was super fun.
I bet that would be fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And we've actually that's one that I've actually done here at Prometheus. So
I remember you invited me and I wasn't able to come.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, so I'll invite you to the next one.
Yes, please.
So, but yeah, I learned, I noticed I had insomnia one night and I was watching Poker After Dark.
You told me.
Oh, I told you all
You
about
told me that. Yeah.
I noticed what a good time all those guys were having,
Yeah.
and I thought, my gosh.
How fun is that?
Yeah. So I'll make sure
But see, that's another networking thing where it's just different, right?
Yes.
And you're on a different level. It's not like all super business, passing out business cards, but you're getting to know people on a different level. And that's how we build strong relationships.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what other notes I have on my shiny. Oh, another thing, just on the lines, along the lines of connecting and networking.
Yeah.
My older brother, John, he's up in Chicago. He's big time sales guy, really good. And I like to, when I see John, I like to, talk about, hey, what, give me some advice here, And one thing he shared with me once, he said, the very most successful guys, when they meet with you, at some point during the meet, let's say you're having coffee, at some point during the coffee, they'll kind of slide over a sheet of paper, saying, hey,
Yep.
not sign this contract, but they're saying kind of, hey, Nancy, I noticed these people you're connected to. Here's 5 people you're connected to. What can you tell me about them, And so they're super, super prepared. Do you ever do that?
Absolutely.
In meetings? Yeah.
And actually the first time I didn't do it all the time, but I know you probably know him, Denny Ward.
Oh, yeah.
With ADP. Well, not anymore, but
right.
We worked together closely because he was basically calling on the same people I was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was a really strong strategic partner for me when I'm doing credit card processing. And he started doing that to me. He would look at my LinkedIn, any of my whatever, Facebook, whatever, and he would give me the list. Here's who I want you to introduce me to. I only want their cell phones.
Right.
So he would do that, and we did that every single month. So I started doing it to him, and it worked out perfectly. We were talking about being strategic. When you go to a networking event, you have to be strategic. So when you have strategic partners, you need to be strategic. And do some research ahead of time. And that way, that person doesn't have to think, I don't know who to connect you with. You're telling them, making it super simple.
Yeah. I too have had a lot of meetings with Denny. Great guy. I think
He's awesome.
When you meet with Denny Ward, first of all, the first thing is it's going to be fun.
Yes.
He's just a fun guy to be around.
Yeah.
Second thing is it's going to be efficient.
Yes, very efficient.
He's this really interesting mix of super fun guy, but when he leaves, there's he's
there to get the job done.
Accomplished something.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's really good at building those relationships. And even though it is all business, it's not all business, but it's business. We're getting something done. You do feel like you get to know him really well. And yes, I've known him for about 6 years as well. So that works out really well when you both have that same agenda. Here's my 10, here's your 10, we're done.
He's one of the few guys in the Indy business community who might be shorter than me. So I don't know about you. I don't know if he's shorter than you.
I'm only 5'2", so I think you're all taller than me.
He's probably got you beat. But once I met Denny, I said, oh my gosh, friends for life. I don't care what happens. I want to stand next to this guy as long as possible.
I'm sure he's going to love that.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Sorry, Denny. Just for fun. So I looked at so before, I knew I was going to be asking that question.
Okay.
Because for this show, it's not completely amateur hour. It's just mostly amateur hour. I do a little bit of prep.
Okay, good.
But I thought, so I looked through your LinkedIn, and I was very interested by Zach Kester.
Uh-huh.
You know Zach?
I do know Zach.
Does he go by Zach or Zachary?
Zach.
Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs Charitable Allies.
Yes.
So you do know Zach.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. It's funny. I do a lot of work with not-for-profits, and I'm married to an attorney, so I know to keep a healthy distance usually. But I see Zach is running a not-for-profit.
Yes.
And it's just interesting.
We've not talked about that before?
I don't believe so.
Okay, cool. And if you don't know him, I'd love to introduce you to him.
Well, now that somehow he'll find out that he's
good. I'm glad he does. Yeah.
Someone will show this to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So how long have you known him?
It's maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
He one of our members introduced him to me. He came to a couple of events, and his offices are downtown, but he's really involved in the downtown community. But yes, his focus is non-for-profits. And as you know, at all of our Rainmakers events, we feature a non-for-profit. So it's a great resource for him because we know so many non-for-profits. We feature them at our events. We give them an opportunity to speak, to get the word out about who they are. So that's why Zach and I, we work together as far as trying to give him some connections there.
Very cool. Wow. Well, so speaking of downtown Indy, explain, so that's kind of Rainmakers Downtown. Explain how that all works.
And actually, we've only had 2 events downtown. We used to do some events, but it was very sporadic years ago. And one of our members, Jason Hammond, his territory for what he does is downtown. So Jason's
a great guy.
He is.
He
is a go-getter. And when he came to me and said, I really want to do something downtown, we were like, that's awesome, because we want someone that's really aggressive as far as making things happen. And that's perfect for Jason. So we've had one event. The first event we had, it was very successful. We had it at Roundtown Brewery, part of the Bitwell Event Center. And we had a speaker. We have networking, a speaker. People could, of course, it was great for Roundtown Brewery because everyone was buying beer, right? We had a few appetizers. Then we had a meet and greet at Gallery 42, which is a partner of ours. And it was a very casual, and there was no agenda. We had beer and wine. We had some appetizers. You got to meet people. We did something really fun. We had an icebreaker. So we're trying to do more of those kinds of things downtown to get people involved. Our next event is September 13th at the Speakeasy downtown. Wow. And we have 2 speakers. And the gentleman that is in charge of the Central Indiana Small Business Community, he's the director, and he has a space at Speakeasy, so he's allowing us to use that for free. So those things are exciting to me.
That's very cool. Very cool. You know, so I will make sure to put a link to those events in the show notes.
Sure.
Before we leave Jason Hammond forever, or
yes,
for now.
For now.
I must say something, and getting back to my discussion with good old Cary. Yeah. Jerry's a guy, and I'm going to include Jason in this conversation as well. He is a guy, it's difficult being a professional, I'm getting to be a fogey. An old fogey. And one of the things I'm dealing with is, gosh darn kids don't dress the way we used to, you know?
Right.
So when I meet with Jerry, and every time I see Jason,
yes,
I know that I'm not gonna be overdressed. Because I know they're gonna be, sharp. Why did I make that sound? That's strange. But good dressers. Jason's a sharp dresser. Yeah.
Always suit and tie, no matter what, suit and tie. And I will ask him sometimes, because he's out downtown walking around, in the heat.
Yes.
How do you do that? And he was like, I have to. That's just who he is. And I'm like,
Sure.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Yeah.
Typically, we don't see that anymore. But yeah, Jason's he's a very sharp dresser.
Yeah.
And so is your friend, your other friend. So
Yeah.
And I don't know him. So
Yeah, Jerry Cary. Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get to know Jerry.
Yeah.
Real good guy. Well, Nancy, congrats on your first year, for finishing the first year
Thank you.
of Rainmakers.
It's been fun.
Good. It's been fun to have you. I was at the Business Owners Roundtable last month,
Yes.
and you brought
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah, you brought
So-
food, and so you're a foodie, aren't you?
I love to cook. First of all, that's really a good passion for me because it's very relaxing. So I love to cook. So I always talk about that at Business Owners Roundtable. I love to cook. And then someone said, you should bring food. And I was like, all right, I will. So I had, you saw the casserole. I had the monkey bread, the cinnamon rolls, all kinds of stuff. So now what we do at the meetings is we do a drawing, and whatever people write down what they want for breakfast, then the next month I have to bring that for breakfast. But I love that.
That's really interesting.
So in September, I'm bringing quiche. That's what they want me to
Quiche.
bring.
Oh my goodness.
So again, we're all here to, of course, bottom line, we want to make connections. We want to get business. But I try to make it a lot of fun. We have to make it fun.
Well, I think you do that well.
Thank you.
Here's to many more years.
Yes.
Here's to many more
Thank
years.
you so much.
And thank you for putting up with our technical difficulties. Thank you for putting up with our technical difficulties. Thank
Yes.
you for putting up. I'm talking to different cameras because I'm so fancy, and it finally works for 2 minutes.
Wonderful.
But anyway, it's so very nice
Thanks.
to have you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Well, so one more thing.
Yeah.
You host one of our events,
Yes, I do.
a LinkedIn prospecting roundtable. So, we talked a lot about LinkedIn. So every quarter we do it. Now, at your location here at Prometheus, we usually limit it to 10. But you do a great job of facilitating that discussion and helping people get on their LinkedIn right then and there and start sending connections. And that's been a very successful event for us as
Yep.
well.
Started out running that event with good old Jeff Boucher.
Yes,
Do you know Jeff?
I know Jeff. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was here when he first started.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't talked to Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Haven't
Yes.
talked to Jeff in a while. But yes, we host that here at Prometheus. So if anyone wants to come see the Hoosier Hometown Heroes
Yes.
studio, come to a LinkedIn roundtable
Yeah.
with Rainmakers. Nancy, thanks so much
Thanks.
for being on the show.
You're welcome.